This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I've started the recording of the session. Now, first question, what is AWS? Can anyone tell me? Just give a blind guess in your mind. Say anything about AWS. Hello, anyone?
So AWS will provide the the virtual servers to the clients like Netflix and all.
So, good, okay, that's right. But see, AWS is something which will not only provide the server, which will provide you everything, each and every services, whatever you need. You need infrastructure. You need a server, you need storage, you need database, you need anything. AWS will provide. Inside
Yeah.
AWS account, you can have any of the services which is required for an IT company to run. Okay, so AWS is a cloud provider. Okay, they provide you with the servers and many other services, which is of course, it's an on demand, and you can scale in and scale out as per your convenience. Okay, now AWS cloud, this is AWS cloud history. Again, I don't want to cover it deep, but yeah, AWS was initially launched in 2002. uh, then 2004 launched publicly with SQS, then launched in Europe 2007, and right now it has billions of people, or billions of users are currently active on AWS. Netflix, be it Netflix, Amazon Prime, Flipkart uses AWS, many other IT companies uses AWS. Okay, so this is cloud computing. So can anyone tell me, yesterday we have discussed this cloud computing. What are the five features of cloud computing? Anyone? It will take 2 minutes. Please go ahead. What is cloud computing? Five features of cloud computing. Okay, so this is so cloud computing is an on-demand delivery of compute, database, storage, or and any other IT resources. You just need to have an internet to access that, and of course, it is based on the pay-as-you-go model. Okay, there are different characteristics of cloud. These are the some characteristics which I have mentioned here. Okay, on-demand self-service. You can have broader network access, rapid elasticity. You can you can take let's say 1,000 server for a day, and then once your use once the use once the operation is done, you can release those server. You will be charged only for 1 day or for that certain amount of time for which you have taken the server. Then resource pooling is there. Multiple clients can use various services from single you mean from single uncom I mean from single physical resource. Yeah, sorry, multiple clients can use different services from single physical resource. Then measured services is there. Multi-tenancy is there, virtualization is there. Again, pricing flexibility is there, which we already discussed it yesterday. Security is there. Automation is one of the most important feature. So these are the couple of features. These are the few features of cloud computing which makes it very fruitful for any business. Okay, I will share you these slides. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, and then we covered what is the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, so there are basically four types of service: on-premises, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So let's take it in a simple way. We can consider pizza as a service as an example. So this is the example of software as a service, where you go to Domino's, they will give you dining table, soda, electric, everything will be managed by Domino's. I'm taking an example of Domino's because by pizza you mean Domino's. Most of the people, right? I love Domino's pizza. So yeah, So they will give you everything. You just need to order it, okay? And then this is platform as a service. You order the pizza from Domino's, so electric gas will be there, oven will be theirs, fire, everything. You just need to have a dining table, or whatever drink you, let's say water and all, okay? This will be there in your home. So this platform as a service. And again, this is infrastructure as a service. In by infrastructure as a service, I mean these things which are required to make pizza. You will go to the market, you will get it to your home, and then fire, oven, gas, soda, dining table, all will be yours. So this is infrastructure as a service. Now on premises, you all know, right? Everything will be made in home. Okay, nothing the vendor will provide, or nothing you'll have to, I mean, go and buy. So everything we will be made in home. So this is on premises. Okay, are we clear? Any doubt till now? Because this is one of the important question which I mean companies might ask you in the interview. Okay, the difference between SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Okay, so these are the few points which I have listed down for SaaS, PaaS, and SAS. For SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. Okay, so these are the few point: infrastructure service, platform as a service, software as a service. Then what accesses you have? It is used by which I mean which a professional, a developer, network architecture, and by the end users. So end users, you can consider Netflix as a good example of SaaS. Okay, so there's a working mechanism. I'll not go line by line because this slide will be shared. I have covered everything in this in both the slides. I've explained you everything. Okay, so now deployment model. So what are the deployment models? So basically there are three deployment models: public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. This also we have discussed it yesterday. A public cloud, you mean anyone can go and use the cloud. Private cloud, it is dedicated to a single organization. Hybrid cloud, half the service will be on premises, half the service will be on public cloud. Okay, by the way, AWS also provides private cloud. Okay, and that service is known as VPC, virtual private cloud. If some company doesn't take AWS basically have their I mean their private cloud, which is I mean which is by default. Okay, but if you want want a separate environment, a separate cloud, AWS provides that also. That is, again, I told you, VPC is a very important feature in AWS. Most of 30%, 25 to 30% of the questions in AWS Solution Architect exam is asked from VPC. Okay, now let's go deep into first AWS service, EC2. What is EC2?
Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay.
Yeah, Elastic Compute. So what do you mean by EC2? Have you heard this term before in your life or in your company?
Yes.
So what do you mean by EC2? I mean, tell me in a very layman language. What do you mean by EC2?
EC2 is it's like a scalable instance, we can say. Means
Uh,
like it is a computer which is scalable, which is kept on the cloud.
yes, it is just a computer. In a very layman term, we can say it's just a computer server.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, again, so as you told, EC2 is a server, and it enable and Amazon EC2 enables you to scale up and scale down the instance as per your business requirement. I gave the example of big billion day in Flipkart, right? So that is how the scaling is done. Basically there are two storage option in EBS and instance storage option. Okay, one thing which is very important, there are two types of EC2 instance. One is EBS backed EC2 instance, and one is instance store backed EC2 instance. Now what do you mean by these two? Okay, so by EBS backed EC2 instance, we mean that the OS is stored in, I mean OS is in, the operating system is in EBS volume. Okay, by instance stored back EC2 means the OS is in instance storage. Got it? let's I'll cover these things in detail. Okay, so again,
So
when you
EBS,
go to, yeah,
okay, yeah.
go ahead. Go,
So
no, 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 please
E,
go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So EBS is like a storage. It's in form of a hard disk. How it is? Just wanted to
Yeah,
know that.
it's a block storage. Will cover EBS in detail once we go into this into the storage part. But
Okay,
EBS volume, you can detach it from the instance.
okay.
Okay, it's a volume kept somewhere else. You can
Mm-hmm.
select that. Okay, so when you go to create an Amazon EC2 instance, there are many pre-configured templates which are already available. Okay, which are known as AMI. I showed you guys yesterday Ubuntu, Windows, Amazon Linux, Mac OS, everything is available. Okay, and now by default, when you create an EC2 instance, AWS gives you a limited amount of EC2 instance per region, so you can create maximum of 20 EC2 instance per region. Okay, but however, this can be scale up based on your requirement. You'll have to talk to the customer care and all, but again, this is the standard maximum of 20 EC2 instances per region. Okay, now there are total six type of EC2 instance. Actually, there are seven type of EC2 instance. I'll tell you how. First is general purpose EC2 instance. Second is compute optimized. Third is memory optimized. Then storage optimized. Then accelerating computing optimized. Then high memory optimized. And the seventh one is the old instance. I mean, the instance which AWS uh, is not. I mean, which AWS doesn't want you to use, but still they have kept it. I mean, just for a testing purpose, they might remove that. Okay, so that is those instances are known as the old instance. There's a term for it. Okay, I'm just forgetting the term, but yeah, there's those are the seven type of instance. Okay, now let's go and cover it one by one. I'll cover it in brief. Okay, first is general purpose instance. General purpose instance, basically, I mean, we are using general purpose instance. See, this is free. We will be using this T2 free tier eligible instance. Okay, it's a very basic instance and can be used for variety of workloads. Okay, four sizes are available: nano, small, medium, and large. We will go with T2 small because T2 small is free tier eligible. So this is the only instance which AWS gives you to you. Which AWS wants you to use in a free tier account. Okay. Second one is compute optimized instance. So what is compute optimized instance? Compute optimized instance basically used for high performance. Is basically used for parallel processing. Example, you can take the example of bank, okay, or any gaming application. So those types of type of activities make use of compute optimized instance. Third is a memory optimized instance. So memory optimized instance, again, it provides a very fast performance because of large data sets in memory. Okay, it has a very it is used in the following databases for to transfer data from here and there. There's a lot of things which is going on. Let's say we can consider an example of let's say investment banking. So in investment banking, they will be using memory optimized instance. Okay. Fourth is storage optimized instance. Now, storage optimized instance, it is basically designed for high input output operations per second, where high input output, uh, I mean, input and output, high input and output per second is performed. Let's say we can consider the example. Let's say here also we can consider the example of banks. Okay, but these two are different. These two are different. I mean, by storage optimized, we can consider the example of, let's say, Razorpay, where the frequent transactions are happening. I'm just taking an example of Razorpay. There are different other type of payment options. Okay. Now, the fifth one is accelerated computing instance. Again, it is used for live process. Live streaming process like in Hotstar, or it is used in Netflix as well. But yeah, it is Hotstar will be the live, will be the good example, or Instagram live videos or Facebook live videos. It can be used in that also. Okay, now high memory instance we generally don't use anywhere. Okay, it's kind of very, it's like a computer. Okay, it is basically used in production deployment of SAP HANA. Okay, we will not consider on high memory instance, because no IT company uses this, and it's very costly. It's very costly. It is available only in three memory sizes: 6 TB, 9 TB, and 12 TB. You can see, the amount of storage it is giving. Okay, and it's powered by AWS Nitro system. It's very fast, very fast. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so till now, do you have any questions on any of the instance where it is used, and or whatever you want to ask? If you don't have any questions, I'll proceed further. Now, this is very important. EC2 purchasing option. Now, EC2. Now, when you actually go to a company, or when you actually open the company, this is the most important thing, because I think someone in the session yesterday told, I think Anish, you only told, right, that your bill was 70,000 or 75,000.
Yes, yes, sure.
Yeah, so that I will tell you how to reduce, how to keep the bill as minimum as possible. Okay, once we start doing hands-on. So purchasing option, very important. There are six type of purchasing options: on demand, dedicated instance, dedicated host, spot instance, scheduled, and reserved. But basically only three ways: on demand, reserved, and spot, that you will get to know. Okay, but in total six ways. There are six ways in which you can purchase AWS EC2 instance. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, now first is on demand instance. So now on demand instance, which basically suitable, they are suitable for testing and development of applications in EC2. Okay, so AWS doesn't want you to use this for a production. It is only used for testing, and prices of the instance is also, per instance, pricing is per instance are consumed for each instance for the time an instance is launched until it is terminated. If you terminate the instance, the pricing will not, you will not be charged. But if you stop the instance, the price, AWS will charge you for that instance. Okay, now if you want me to cover a point, I'll. So AWS recommend using demand instance for application with short term irregular workloads that cannot be interrupted. Okay, suitable for testing and development of application. When your application is in a development stage, you can use this type of instance. Okay, the use of on-demand instance frees you from the cost and complexity of planning, purchasing, maintaining hardware, and transforming what are commonly large fixed costs into much smaller variable cost. I think I have done a spelling mistake. Into a much smaller variable cost. Okay, not used for deployment. Now, to dedicated instance and dedicated host. Now, there surely, out of 10 companies, 5 to 6 companies will ask you the question, what is the difference between dedicated instance and dedicated host? Okay, so by just looking at the name, can anyone tell me what is the difference between a dedicated instance and dedicated host? Anyone? Okay, okay, I'll go ahead. Okay, so the most important difference between a dedicated instance and dedicated host is that dedicated host gives you additional visibility and control over how instances are placed on the physical server. Okay, the whole server, the whole hardware is dedicated to a single customer. Okay, in dedicated instance, So what is a dedicated instance? So a dedicated instance, it usually runs in a VPC which is dedicated to a single customer, but in dedicated host the whole hardware is dedicated to a single customer. It saves you the cost of your I mean software licensing cost can be reduced if you go with dedicated host instance. And it uh, and and see, it gives you additional visibility and control over how instances are placed in physical server, and you can consistently deploy your instance to the same server over time, because the whole hardware is dedicated to a single customer, and in this the VPC is dedicated to a single customer. So this is the main difference between a dedicated instance and dedicated host. Okay. And dedicated host, I mean, it can save you 70% if you go for a dedicated instant uh, purchasing option. Okay. So this is the main difference between dedicated instance and dedicated host. See, the host is the whole physical server with EC2 instance. It's fully dedicated to your use, and this is VPC. The whole VPC on that hardware will be dedicated to a single customer. So this is the most important thing which can be asked in the interview. Okay. So please remember it. In dedicated host, the whole hardware. In dedicated instance, the VPC is dedicated to a single customer. Now, the fourth one is spot instance. Spot instance, the cheapest instance available in EC2. While purchasing EC2. Okay, and you can get any instance, and the cost will be 100 times less. But the only thing is that you need to bid for this spot instance. Suppose you bid for this instance 10 rupees. Okay, so AWS will give this instance to you, be it T2 small, T4 large, or anything. AWS will give that to you. Okay, but it is very important to understand that in spot instance, please don't deploy your application. You do the testing of your, if you have a high-end application, you go for spot instance. You do the testing there, because what AWS will do, let's say if you have if you have given a price of 10 I mean, if you have bid for 10 rupees price, okay, AWS will give the instance to you. Okay, let's say after 1 hour I come and I bid for 12 rupees for the same instance. So at that time AWS will give that instance to me, and you will be given only 2 minutes to wrap up your data and all. Okay, after that, after 2 minutes AWS will give that instance to me, so it will no longer will that instance will be available to you. So it is highly recommended that you use spot instances only for testing purpose. Again, I told you that on demand instance also for a testing purpose, but in spot instance, what is the benefit is that you can get any high memory instance for your testing. Suppose your application doesn't fit with on demand instance for testing, because it's a very high end application, then in that case you can go for spot instances. Okay. See, spot instances are available at up to 90% discounted price compared to on demand prices, that is on demand instances. So that is the difference between spot instance and on demand instance. And it will you can have the options to hibernate, stop, or terminate your spot instances when EC2 reclaims capacity back within 2 minutes of notice. It will give you a notice of 2 minutes and then take back the instance. Now this is scheduled instance and reserved instance. So what is scheduled instance and reserved instance? So scheduled instance is that, let's say you are working only on Saturdays and Sunday. Let's say you are working in an MNC from Monday to Friday, and Saturday Sunday you are doing your own work. You started some business. So in that case, you can schedule your instance only to work on Saturdays and Sundays. So even if you don't work on Saturdays and Sundays, those instances will run, and AWS will charge you for those instances. Okay, only for Saturday and Sunday. Monday to Friday you will not be charged. You will be charged only for Saturdays and Sunday. What is reserved instance? So reserved instance is that you reserved certain type of instance for the entire 3 years. So basically they have the option of 3 years, and you can get 75% discount compared to other on demand pricing, and I mean compared to other on demand pricing, yeah, right. So this is the basic difference between scheduled instance and reserved instance. Okay. Okay, so EC2 is done. So we have covered the EC2 types, we have covered the purchasing options. Okay, any doubt till now? Okay, I'll go ahead. Okay, now EC2, how to access your EC2 instance. Now to access your EC2 instance, you need a key and a key pair name that you will have to create once, I mean, at the time of creating your EC2 instance. Okay, you can download the private key only once. I mean, once you create the private key, it will ask you to download. Please download it that time only, because if you don't download it that time, you will not be able to download it at a later stage. Okay, the public key is also saved by AWS. The key which you have created, it is saved by AWS, because once you log into the instance and once you generate the password, AWS will match both the keys. If both the keys a key matches, then it will allow you to log into the EC2 instance. Okay. Without key pair, again, you will not be able to do the RDP in or SSH in case of a Linux instance. Okay. Again, as I told you, there are total 20 EC2 instance per account, soft limit per account. Okay, within a region. I told you you can increase it. Okay. Now EC2 status check, before, by default AWS performs an automated status check every 1 minute. Okay, this can be, I mean, this is from AWS side. For the, I mean, for this status check or health check, you will not be charged. Okay, this is done on every running instance to identify if there's any hardware or software issues. Okay, if there's any hardware or software issues, you will get an email from AWS. Okay, status check is built into the AWS EC2 instance. They cannot be configured, deleted, or disabled, because that is by default from AWS. It is giving you a free of cost service of, yeah. So EC2 services, it sends the metric data to AWS CloudWatch every 5 minutes. Okay, enabled by default. Okay, if you need it, if you need yeah, so if you need every 1 minute for I mean, if you need AWS CloudWatch to get the data every 1 minute, for that you will be charged. But for every 5 minutes, it's free. Okay, enabled detailed monitoring is chargeable and sends its metric to every 1 minute. Okay, you're not charged for EC2 instance if they have stopped. However, attached EBC, you will be charged for this attached EBC. Okay, you're not charged for the EC2 instance if they are stopped. However, attached EBC volume incur charges. This I told you in yesterday's class as well. Okay, just a minute. Just give me a minute. I'm getting a call. Yeah, sorry, my apologies. Okay, so this is EC2 status check. Okay, now when you stop an EBS backed EC2 instance, what happens? Instance will be shut down. It'll turn from running status to stopping status. Okay, EBS volume will remain attached to the instance for which you will be charged if you're stopping the instance. Okay, private IP is retained, but public IP is released, because we have very less IP available in the market. Okay, any data attached in the RAM or instance, store volume will be gone. Data will be gone. Okay, instance releases public IP, but it retains its private IP or any or IPv6. So we will be concentrating more on IPv4 address. Okay, now EC2. Now what is EC2 termination? There's a difference between stop and terminate. So when you terminate, your instance will go from running to shutting down to terminate. Okay. By default, this volume will be deleted. Okay. When EC2 is terminated, but there's an option where which you can untick to retain this volume. Okay. For which you'll have to enable EC2 termination protection. Okay. Cool. No, no, sorry. EC2 termination protection is different. By EC2 termination protection, we mean, I mean, let's say if somebody has logged into that, I mean, because in the companies you will get a shared AWS account, right? So let's say if you go by mistake and delete the instance, so to avoid that, I mean, EC2 termination protection is enabled. Now, how you can retain the EBS root devices volume? I mean, while creating the EC2 instance, there will be an option. I mean, to retain the volume that you will have to tick. Okay, by default it is unticked. That you'll have to tick so that it'll. I mean, the volume will be retained. Okay, now what is EBS elastic block storage? So EBS volume attached at the launch are deleted when the instance terminate. Again, when the instance terminate, when the instance is stopped, it is not deleted, but it is detached with the data. Instance storage physically attached to the host server. Okay, uh, data is not lost when the OS is rebooted, but if you stop the instance or if you terminate the instance, the data will be gone. So the data is lost when the drives fail. Again, instance is stopped or terminated, or you can detach it or and attach it to a to other instance. I mean, you can't do that because instance storage is actually physically attached to the host server. But EBS storage, you can detach it and attach it to other instance. Okay, so this is EC2, today's topic. Okay, let me open AWS. Yes, so we have covered EC2. Now I will show you how to create an EC2 instance. So, but before going ahead, I wanted to hear from you if you guys have any doubt. Please feel free to ask. Anyone? Okay, so tell me how many of you know how to create an EC2 instance? I mean, how to create an EC2 instance? Yeah, basically. How, I mean, do you guys know how to create an EC2 instance? Anyone?
Yeah,
Anish?
I we need to type EC2 on the AWS console, and
Hmm.
we need to open the EC2 instant, and there we need to select the sizes based on our requirement, like T3 micro, T3 small, like that.
Okay. So, okay, so let's go ahead and create the EC2 instance. Okay, I will log into the console. I will log into this console. Okay, so before going ahead, I wanted to show you guys something. So this is my account. I'm in Mumbai region. Okay, let's go to billing dashboard. Now see, once you go to billing dashboard, there's an option called budgets. Go to budget, go to create a budget. Okay, so we will go ahead with the standard template. Okay, customize is basically used by the organizations, by the big organizations. Okay, so here you can see there are four options. Zero spend budget. So if you go ahead with zero spend budget, you just need to give your email address. Okay, AWS with so once you are about to incur any charge, AWS send an email to this will send an email to this email ID that you are about to incur any charges. So in this way you can avoid to incur charges. Okay, this is the first thing. Now the second thing is monthly cost budget. If you go with monthly cost budget, let's say your monthly target is $100. So once you cross $90, AWS will send an email, okay, on your provided email address that you are about to incur. I mean, you have already crossed 90% of the set limit. Do you want to increase the limit, or do you want us to notify it regularly? I mean, so as per that, you can save money. This is daily plan, a daily a threshold, and this is daily reservation utilization a budget. Okay, so ignore this. You can go ahead with these three. So these three are budget plan which you can plan if you are using a free tier account. Okay, but it is often not required. But since you guys I mean, if you guys doesn't have control on the expenditure of in AWS account, then please do set the budget. And if you need any help, please do let me know. I'll help you. Okay, so these are the different services in AWS. You can see EC2, VPC, storage, Route 53, IAM is there, Lambda is there. Again, Internet of Things is there, machine learning is there. So AWS provides each and every IT service. Okay, but now we will first we'll look at EC2. Okay, now how to create an EC2 instance. So as of now, this is the console. You can see you have zero. I have zero EC2 instance running. Okay, but I have created five key pairs. I've created eight security group. These are the previous. I mean, these are the key pairs and security group of the previous instance which I have created for the previous batch. Okay, now let's go to the instance. Now here instance running is zero. Okay, let's go ahead and launch the instance. Okay, so I'll name the instance as my first server. Okay, we'll go with Windows. We can go with Amazon Linux as well, Ubuntu as well, but for now we will go with Windows, because for Amazon Linux and Ubuntu, if you're using a Windows machine, then you can download a putty. I will show you how to download it. Okay, uh, if you're using Mac, you can connect from the CLI itself. For now, I'll go with Windows. Okay, this is the a type of instance. This is the AMI ID. This is the type of instance, a T2 micro, because it is free tier eligible. Other instances are not free tier eligible. Only this is the instance which is free tier eligible. So let's go with this instance. Let's create a new key pair. New key. Okay, let me create here. New key. Okay, nuclear, we'll go with PEM file. Okay, we can go with a ppk also, but it is used for to connect Linux instance from a putty. I told you the name of the software, right? Putty. Okay, create key pair. So the key pair has been created, it's downloaded. Okay, if you want, I will show you where it has downloaded the key pair. So this is the newly created key pair which has been downloaded. Okay, now security group will go with existing security group, will allow the RDP connections so that we can take the RDP connection of this instance. Then we'll allow HTTPS, we'll allow HTTP. Why HTTP and HTTPS? So that if we create any web server, other people can also access that. Okay, and this is the storage which I have configured. I mean, this is 30 GB standard storage. If you want to add volume, you can go and add volumes. These are the different types of volumes which we will uh, cover at a later stage. Okay, now if you look at the advanced details, you don't basically need an advanced details. Okay, no need to. So here I'll show you the option. Yeah, request spot instance. So if you request spot instance, you can request it from here. Okay, but not required for now, so we will not go ahead and add for advanced details. Number of instance one. This is the software image. This is the instance type. New security group has been created. Volume is 30 GB. Okay, let's launch the instance. So the instance has been successfully launched. Okay, the state is pending. Let it start. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. I'm listening. If you have any questions, please go and ask. No questions, guys. Okay, let's see if our instance is started. It's still in the initializing state. If possible, I'll try to install the IIS web server, and I'll try to create a web page also in this Windows server. This I was planning to cover it in the next class, but I'll try to do it today itself. Okay, the status is passed. Now let's go in the instance. Let's go on the connection. RDP. So if you're using Windows, what you'll have to do is you'll have to download the remote desktop file. Okay, for me not required because I'm using Mac and I'll have to use a different software. But if you have created the AWS account, you can show me. I'll show you how to use that. Okay. Now this is get password. Now I'll have to encrypt the password as well. So upload private key. So what was the private key? Newly, yeah, this is the private key, right? So I'll upload it. I'll decrypt the password, and this is the password. Okay, this is the password. Let's go share. Okay, this is the public IP address. I'll connect with public IP address. Okay, I'll go to Microsoft Desktop. Yeah, I will add a different. Okay, let me delete this one. This is the old one. Okay, add a PC. This is here. Here we goes the public IP. Okay, add it. We'll try to connect it. Username is administrator. Password name. What is the password? So username is administrator. The password is this one. Okay. So we will enter the password here. We'll do continue. Okay, continue. You'll have to use public IP. Okay. See, I have successfully logged in to the to the EC2 instance. Let it start. Okay, so this is our first lab which we created to create an EC2 instance. I know most of you might know it, but other people I don't think that they know it because that they told that they are from the testing background. So this is the first lab which we did. Okay, Now let us try. Okay, the web server part and the storage part, because there are two other things. I need to show you how to launch a web page, and the second thing I need to show you how to add an extra volume once the instance is created. So these two things I'll show it to you guys in tomorrow's class, or not tomorrow. I think in Monday's class. Okay, so this is the EC2 instance. You can go. You can check. This is the volume, right? 30 GB volume which we took. So this is the Windows instance. You can go ahead, you can install the software here, you can run the application. You just need to share your a public IP address and the password with anyone to log into this instance. Okay, so I'm closing it. So this is closed. Now you go to the the AWS console. You click on the instance. You don't stop it, terminate the instance. Okay, the instance is successfully terminated. You will not be charged even a single rupee for that. Okay, so this is it for today. We just did our first lab, like how to create an EC2 instance, and next class I'll show you how to create a web page, how to attach an extra volume. Yeah, that's it from Vijay. Which document? Okay, there are a few things. Can you share the document with us? Which? Okay, document I will share it with you, but not now. I will share the slides with you. Okay, guys, so do you have any questions? Please go ahead and ask. I'll stop the recording now.